What's up, guys? Welcome back to Sooner Auto Solutions. Today we're going to be working on a 2500 HD Silverado. I'm going to walk you through diagnosing and then repairing a blower motor fault. Essentially what's happening is that when you activate the air conditioning, the blower motor is not turning on. So I'm gonna walk you through step by step, kind of like what I do in diagnosing it, just figuring out what the root cause is, then repairing it. So stay tuned, lock in. It's gonna be real quick video. Hopefully it's gonna be helpful for some of you if you run into the situation. All right, so first things first, what's the issue? So when you get into the vehicle, turn on the key, turn on the AC, turn it all the way up to the max, and then you can notice that there's no circulation coming out of the vents. Absolutely none. So my first thought is that clearly there's something wrong with the blower motor. Now, what I typically do in this case is go straight to the fuse box, because there is a fuse underneath the hood for the blower motor in itself. So we'll check that first to make sure that that's not blown, and then we'll go step through step about how to diagnose the problem. All right now I'm under the hood, and this is going to be the same for any 06 to 09 Silverado, Tahoe, Suburban, Denali, Yukon, and any of those GMC models. Underneath the hood, right on the passenger side, on the driver's side, there's going to be a big fuse box, and this fuse box has fuses and relays that run the engine, some dash components, and then some of the electrical components underneath the hood. And when you pop the cover off, the cover is usually on like this right here. When you pop the cover off, you just look under there, and in most cases this sticker is still going to be attached, but if not, just Google it. They will give you a diagram of what you're looking for. And so if you look there, let me flip it up right so you can see where it says blower 40 amp, and again, this is on like this. So when I pop this off, I look there, see that it says blower, and then I look down there and see that it says blower. And if you pay attention to how this is divided, there's the one that's for the stud, a gap, there's one blower there, one fuse 50 amp, then a 40 amp blower, and that one is that one right here that doesn't have a cover. There's two ways really to test this. These are 40 amps fuses, and generally when one of these fuses are bad, there will be a break in the connection. Hopefully you guys can see it. There will be a break in the connection, so down there once any of these blow. So if there was a break in the connection right there, just by visibly looking at it, looks like the cover is actually right in there. I'll dig that out. But if there was a break in this connection right here, that's easily identified that, hey, here's my problem. Another way to test it though is to see that you have power coming to this point. If this fuse is not blown, would be to remove the fuse and then use a test light. This is a ground fault. This is just a simple ground fault test light. You just hook the end of that onto the ground or to the power, and then you just test the other side of it. It will light up if that fuse has power. But since I can look at that fuse and see that it's already intact and there's no errors with it there, I just go on and move on to the next step, which would be testing the blower motor to see if the blower actually has power to it too. Okay, now we're on the passenger side, and on your vehicle there should be this cover, and this cover covers all of the AC components that's underneath the dash. I've already removed mine. It has four 7mm screws that go in here, 2 on the passenger side and then 2 on the driver's side. So you just remove that down, and then that'll give you access to this blend door actuator that's underneath here, that's also screwed in with 7mm screws, and then also the blower motor, which is over on this side right. So what are we looking for? Once you get down underneath here and remove the cover, remove the plugs that come out of here, what you see here is the blower motor resistor. and then the blower motor back here and to the right hand side. And what happens is when you get a signal, when the resistor gets an input from the temperature control module up there, this is what regulates the speed of the actual motor. So when this has a fault in it, then the blower motor is not getting the correct amount of amperage, and so it won't respond to the input from the control module. So I have this out on the workbench, so I'll give you a up close look at exactly what it looks like, and then we'll go into the next step of testing out whether or not this motor is bad, and then how to isolate whether or not this resistor is bad. And I lied. This is actually a 7/32 that holds these screws on here. And even though I don't have to, I'm gonna use a DeWalt drill because I believe in speed and efficiency. So make sure it's going the right way. All right, so you can get a look at what we got here. This one is the new one. I just took this one out again. Like I said, I already had this one up in there and did the test on it. This is the old one that was in its place. And you can see from, this is a factory one. This is an OEM part. This one's been in there for probably since this truck has been manufactured. But how it will work is, so there's a plug, and this, I already snipped this off right here, but this was originally plugged into here, and that's what connected the motor and, the blower motor and the resistor together. So you could test this a couple ways. One way is using a multimeter. It's pretty simple. If you have one, all you do is just hook it up, turn it to DC, and then put it to the blower motor resistor or the blower motor, and then send power to it, and then it will tell you if there's current running through it. What I have is a multifunction drive tester, and I'll leave the link to the description down there, to where you can get one of these. But this is a really helpful tool in diagnosing electrical faults, because what you're able to do is use these leads attached to the battery, another lead attached to the power or ground of the thing you're testing, and then the switch allow you to send power to it, and it's an easy way to test it. So let me get this connected to the battery and then ran over to where we're going to be working at, and then I'll show you guys how it works. All right, so you can see I got the power connected to the power, the ground connected to the ground, and then I just run it across all the way. It has really long leads on it. Run it all the way across to where we're going to be working at, and then you can see here that it's reading 12 volts directly from the battery. So what we'll be able to do with this is connect this to the ground on the side, and then use a function key to send power to the components to see if they even function. So let me get this ground connected up, because it's easier to do it with both hands than it is to do with one, and then I'll show you guys how it works. Of course, that pin is on there with the force of 1,000 waterfalls, but you can get that off. You just use a screwdriver to release the tab back there, then pry that off. But also you could just plug that in and send the power down to here. What I did to make it easier and to not ground it out is attach a small lead to it, which I connected that ground to, and you can see when I put, so I got one side to there, when I put one side to the there, it gives me a negative side. So on my device I send positive power to it, and then we got the fan blowing. So that lets me know right off the bat that there's nothing wrong with the blower fan, and there's something wrong with the resistor. So let me get that swapped out, and then see if we can get this fixed. See if we don't got action over here. Presto changeo. Nice and easy. See now how it's responding. Turn it down, it turns down. That right there is gonna be a job well done. Let me get this button back up, then I'll close this video out. All right, we got our mess cleaned up. Got the cover put back on too. Got that wiped down, vacuumed out. Yeah, that's gonna do it for this one. Like I said, real quick and easy job. Just replace the diagnose and replace that blower motor on the 2500. But if you found this type of video helpful, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share it with your friends. Let everybody know there's a channel out here that's simplifying automotive repair and taking the guesswork out of operator maintenance. Thanks so much for tuning in. I really appreciate your support. That's gonna do it for this one. Peace.